Hello, everybody. Today, I would like to tell you more about Hong Kong hip hop and rap and how that relates to overworking and a terrible mental health. So, within Hong Kong, in terms of a little bit of context, the work culture is very fast paced and results oriented. So, the boss will, raise up your rank and raise up your position in the industry depending on what results, what achievement, what you've done. So it's very unfair for people that are like it's very easy for people to overwork and to overachieve, set ambitious goals, and just really have a terrible work-life balance because they know that if they achieve better, they get the things done faster, then they get bonus pay, and in turns get a higher position in their rank in the industry. And in terms of stress and anxiety people has been having is because of a overcrowding issue. So that's mainly caused by a one-way permit scheme. So that scheme is established in the 1980s. It brings 150 people from mainland China to Hong Kong for free, so they can just live here and indefinitely, and that raises the demand of cost of living, and so it's very high, and also makes the rent extremely expensive because there's a high demand. So there's things like subdivided flats. So they are called cage home or luxury plots. So they are where the landlord just splits the apartment into further smaller little flats, or like just literal cages where it's like 2.2 square meter. They're absolutely tiny. You can only lie down in them, and it's terrible. So that obviously causes a really bad mental health and really suffocating city, and it's really bad. And it's also represented within music and hip-hop. So in bands like 24 Herbs, JB, Bakery, bands and artists like that, they have been really big advocates into social unjust and what the city has been experiencing. So in relation to this topic, I have found 3 songs as case studies. So the first one is called MLY. It's by a group called 24 Herbs. Its basic literal translation is no use. So it's like talking about how no matter how much you earn, no matter what you're doing, no matter how much you save up, there's no use because of how demanding and just expensive everything is. And in a short conclusion, overlooking the lyric translation, is with the focus is on the high cost of living, and literally just there's no use in working anymore because it's just not enough no matter how much you do. And Hong Kong is being known for having the highest cost per square feet in the entire world for a long while, and with the new immigrants from China moving in every single day as they exponentially rise, it's just really difficult. And he also mentioned a little bit a sort of interesting thing in Hong Kong. So there's restaurants called Cha Tan Tang. There are restaurants where it's very fast paced and they serve every single food, and those waiters are very aggressive and very just they don't treat you with respect because all they want you to do is to sit down, pay their money, and just leave. So having to take those sort of terrible service as such just adds to its stress, and it also shows how frustrating the long working hours and just saving up is just the demand's too high, it's too competitive. And the next song is a song called Sorry, This Is Hong Kong. Sorry, 呢度係香港 by Billy Choi. It's just been released around 3.5 months ago, and it won one award by Tone Music Awards. So in the summary of the lyrics, it's the focus is on the state of Hong Kong post protest and post riots, and it's just very uncertain and not much answers to be had. It mentions how dire and gloomy the situation is, and also again with the local immigrants and the overcrowding issue, a lot of people move to places like UK, Canada, Taiwan to have a better, quote unquote, better life, to have a better future, start anew, have a different chance. So a lot of my family and friends, a lot of people has been doing that, and I'm one of those sort of people that moved here because of studying, as well as getting away from all the protests and dangerous sort of things, which is very sad since it's the place I grew up in. So it also, apart from overworking, it's raised issues of police brutality, of how they can just arrest you and pick you up in the street and just put you in the jail because they can. Abuse of power, and also the false sort of perception of hope. So Hong Kong has been, not has been, it was very prosperous because of it's a manufacturing city, so they produce things like clothes and toys, such like that. And those sort of the start of Hong Kong has been really successful, but those are what like my parents or like people from that generation think. But right now it's just all those sort of things are being used up. All those money that the government saved up is just being used and being dried up in a well, as a metaphor. And it's just that's the false perception of hope. And he also mentions on how suffocating a city is, and it's like a hell. So there's a lyric, and it's like, if you think Hong Kong is hell, then raise your hand. Well, that's me. And in terms of the work culture, it's very fast-paced, very intense, and it has a lot of competition, and that foster a really workaholic culture. It's has this line. So it's like the entire street is workaholic, and it's just really bad for the public because it's very difficult to maintain a healthy work-life balance, and that also causes stress, anxiety, and depression because you literally don't have time for yourself. So as I mentioned, it won first place in Tone Music Awards 2023. Singer-songwriter Billy Choi mentions in his award speech, he said that watching the news recently, it's just, he really thinks to himself that, are we really, like, we might be the last generation of Hong Kongers. So referring to how China may take over before the sort of 50-year, one system, two rule Sino-British agreement. So yeah, it's quite depressing because I also relate to that and sympathize with how sort of sad that a communist city or a communist country is just trying to take over this small island in the middle, like in the port. It's just very sad. In the last case study, it's called 得個等 by JB. I'm waiting, 淨係得個等 We all suffocating 死於非命唯有淨係得個人 I mean I'm waiting, 淨係得個等 He's actually from Philippines, but he has a very, very fluent Cantonese, and I'm sure he has better Cantonese than me, a local. So the focus is on COVID-19, on how that's really taken a big toll on financial, in terms of finance, and a lot of businesses is forced to be out of business because of rent and such, and like having no customers. So the basic thing is about creative industries, how a lot of concert shows has been postponed indefinitely and cancelled. And again, mention of a suffocating city, and seeing his family and friends immigrate is just very heartbreaking for him because he can only watch them leave, but he himself can't. And he has this line. So it's like there's a lot of empty shops in Hong Kong because of how many it closed down due to COVID, and those sort of lack of a customer and an income just forces them to be out of business. So in conclusion of this really long video, as a Hong Konger, I have seen it with my own eyes best with my parents on how exhausted and overworked they are when they come home at night. They're just really, really tired. And my dad especially, he has to be on his laptop even on the weekends or at night when he's home because of how much work he has. And I'm very lucky to be one of those people who immigrated to the UK because of the rise and such. And it makes me question on how, like, whether I should go back to Hong Kong to work or remain in the UK. And I think a lot of sort of students who is in a similar situation to me, or just people in general that wants to work in Hong Kong, is uh, the aim of this research is to allow them to have an informed decision on how different the work culture is in the UK. Since I believe the UK work culture is more focused on mental health and having a, like, good sort of work culture and a good work life balance. So and it's very different between Asia countries. So things, places even like Japan, they're really overworked, and that causes a terrible work life balance and a terrible mental health. So I hope that this research has been informative and helps you make an informed decision as in whether or not to work in Hong Kong, although it's quite negative. Thank you.